What's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to build a Pinecone agent. And essentially what we're going to do is upload a bunch of documents to Pinecone, and we're going to leverage their assistant feature and then show you how to set up a flow within n8n where you can upload documents to that assistant and then also be able to chat with those same documents. So before we build, let's actually demo what we're building. So the first thing I want to do is actually go to my chat, and then I'm just going to close this. This is a little too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to execute workflow, and I'm going to come down to chat, and I'm just going to ask a question I asked previously. So what is our sales methodology? And then what it's going to do is going to leverage Pinecone to find the documents that have those answers. And then we're going to see the answer in real time in the chat. So this is perfect for if you're working in a company internally and you have a bunch of documentation and internal or external people need to understand that documentation. This is perfect. So what I'm going to do is go to Pinecone, and as you can see, I have my assistants, and then I have these documents. So if I look at this first document, as you can see, it has a breakdown of our sales methodology. And if I go back to Pinecone, n8n, you see that we have a clear breakdown based off what the document told us. So now that we know that our Pinecone assistant works, let's actually demo the process of uploading a document. So I'm going to stop that flow. I'm going to come down to execute flow. It's going to take us to a link where we're able to upload an actual document. I'm going to select just a test document. For now, click submit, form submitted. And then if I go back here, you see that the document is uploaded to Pinecone. So if I come back here, you see that our document is being uploaded. Cool. So we know that, hey, our chat works. We know that we're able to upload documents. Now let's build this from scratch. So I'm going to delete this document for now because we don't need it. And what I want you to do is to go to Pinecone. I'll put the link in the description. And I basically just want you to create an account. Once you get to the Get Started page, the first thing I want you to do is go to Assistant. I want you to click Create Assistant. And then for this, I'm just going to name it Build with Moses. And then the region, United States is fine. And then I'm going to click Create Assistant. Cool. So now that we have an assistant, let's go back to n8n. So what I'm going to do for this demo, I'm actually going to delete the ones I've already created, and we're just going to start from scratch. So when it comes to uploading a document, let's do that first. I'm going to look for HTTP request node. And in simple terms, it's just a simple way for us to send API requests to an API. And we're going to go back to Pinecone. We're going to come here to this code icon, and we're going to select shell, and then we're going to go to upload documents, and we're just going to copy this curl command. And then I'm going to go back to Pinecone, n8n, my apologies. And then I'm going to go to importccurl or curl, click import. And what it does, it takes the URL, it takes the header that we have, and then it also takes the body content type. Cool. So let's fill out this information. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that I have my Pinecone API key. So I'm going to go back to Pinecone, go to API keys, create API key, and I'm going to just name it test for now. And then I'm going to copy it, come back to n8n, and then paste that in API key. Perfect. The next thing we want to do is actually take this data and put in as the input data field name. And then we're just going to come here and we're going to test this flow. So I'm going to do that by go to execute workflow, choose a document, select this document, submit, come back to Pinecone, come back to n8n, and as you can see, it worked. But what we want to do is come back to Pinecone and make sure it actually worked. So I'm going to click Assistant, go to Build with Moses, and as you can see, our document was uploaded. Perfect. So now that we know our document's been uploaded, let's actually use Claude to generate real documents. So I'm going to delete this document, and I'm going to open up my dear friend, Claude. And then I'm just going to say, and this is like a very interesting use case. I think this use case will work for anything when it comes to working for a company, all that good stuff, but I think it's pretty interesting to see what happens here. So I have this document being generated, and it looks like it's actually creating two documents. Yeah, it created a YouTube document and a LinkedIn document. So what I'm going to do is take that YouTube document, put that in Google Docs, copy it, and paste it in Google Docs, and then actually download it as a PDF, and then put that into Pinecone and do the same thing for the LinkedIn document. And then we're just going to ask questions to it. Okay, so we have our LinkedIn document. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to upload the document here. Cool. And then I'm just going to name it. Should name it automatically. Perfect. And then I'm just going to download it as a PDF. Before I do that, let me take this out. We're going to download it as a PDF. Perfect. And then I'm going to go back to n8n and I'm going to start that process over. So I'm going to go to SQ workflow. It's going to take me to the link. And then I'm going to find that document by just typing in LinkedIn. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to submit it. Perfect. Come back to n8n. That worked. And then I'm going to go to Pinecone. And as you can see, the document's being uploaded. Cool. So I'm going to copy it, come back to Google Docs, create a new document. I think there's, a new document, paste it here, beautiful. And then come here, download it as a PDF. Perfect. And then now come back to n8n and do the process over. And the whole idea here is that you're creating a flow that if you're building this for an internal company, for your company, for a company that you are providing services to, it's really important for you to build a flow where they don't have to hit you up every time they want to upload a document to the agent. This makes it easy because you can really turn this into an API, and then now they just upload documents and it's always added to your Pinecone vector database. In this case, specifically the assistant. So we're going to click submit and then come back to Pinecone n8n. And as you can see, it was uploaded. So now let's go to Pinecone and let's test it, make sure that it was uploaded. So I'm just going to refresh this real quick. Both of our documents are uploaded. So now what I'm going to do, and I do this every time I test the actual agent, when it comes to a RAG agent, or in this case, you can call a RAG agent or an agent that's using external information as context. And in the future, I'll go over what a RAG agent is. Okay, so it's giving me questions, which is important when it comes to testing. So what I'm going to do is actually build out our chat, which is leveraging the Pinecone API. Before we do that, let's actually name this API. So I'm going to name it Pinecone insert or input. And then for this one, I'm just going to do the same thing, do an HTTP request. And remember, if this is your first time using n8n, remember that all of these are nodes. So when we add an HTTP request node, remember that we're adding a node. So whenever I say node, I refer to the actual thing that we're adding. In this case, a HTTP request. So this is going to use the same process. So we're going to go to this code icon. We're going to go down to shell, and then we're going to copy the curl command. We're going to come back to n8n. We're going to paste it here, import, and we're going to go back to our Pinecone input node, and we're going to copy our API key, and we're going to paste it here. Beautiful. And then what we want to do here is that I'm going to start this chat and just say, hey. And what it's going to do is going to pass in a value, and we're just going to ignore the answer, but we're going to pass in this variable to this content value. So it's dynamic, which means that every time we chat with our agent, it will use that chat input as the question that we're passing to our assistant in Pinecone. So I'm just going to come here, drop it here. And sometimes this happens in n8n where it doesn't go exactly where I want it. So I'm just going to copy it, delete it, and then paste it here. And then now when I come back, the last thing I want to do is add a chat, respond to chat node. And we're going to pass in this content variable as the message. And then we want to do two more things before this is ready to go. We want to go to our when chat receive node and make sure that response mode is using response nodes, which means that it's going to use this response to chat. And then for the HTTP request, we're just going to name it Pinecone output. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's actually test this. So I'm going to go back to Claude and I'm going to take one of these questions. So I'm going to do what are the three main factors that YouTube algorithm prioritizes. We're going to paste it here and let's see what answer we get. Cool. Click-through rate and viewer satisfaction, and let's see if that's right. Watch time, click-through rate, and viewer satisfaction. The same exact answer specifically. It's cool. That's dope. So getting the exact answer that is in the actual document. Okay, so that basically concludes the video. This is a very simple intro video to how to use n8n, specifically using Pinecone to create an assistant. And remember that this use case is perfect if you're trying to build a chatbot for a company. In the future, I will build out different ways to make this a little more complex for various use cases. But remember what we did in this video is that we built a chat workflow leveraging the Pinecone assistant. We went in Pinecone, we set up our assistant, and then we created a way where we can actually upload those documents to give our assistant context. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.